Hi there, I'm Dr. Funke Afolabi Brown. I'm the founder of Restful Sleep MD. And today we're going to be talking about what to do with those curtain calls. Does that sound familiar? Usually, what those show up as is your preschooler that comes and says, I need you to tuck me in. They may either yell from their room or they come out of their bed, out of their bedroom to say, I need you to tuck me in. Can I have another hug? I need a cup of water. I'm thirsty. I'm hungry. I need to use the bathroom. There's a monster under my bed. I am hungry. I'm in pain. My belly hurts. My hair hurts. My toe hurts. So this comes in all forms. And as a parent, you get really frustrated and you may find yourself either doing one of two things or three things: yelling because you are so frustrated, catering to their needs, and you end up tucking them in 100 times, giving them so much water that they then pee in bed, and then they wake up and disrupt your own sleep in the middle of the night. So all these things are types of curtain calls, and they fall under what we call bedtime resistance. So essentially at this age of, our preschoolers, our toddlers are very creative. They're very creative in delaying bedtime, and they will do it with whatever means is possible, and they will test limits, which is expected just developmentally. But the important thing is that we know what we need to do when those situations come up. And there are different reasons why your child may have these curtain calls and bedtime resistance. One may be related to separation anxiety. It may be that your child just does have a hard time separating from you, even during the day. And at night, they're going to do whatever they need to make sure you stay with them. The second is nighttime fears, which are, it's a real phenomenon that some of our children deal with. They may be so convinced, their imagination is so vivid that there's a monster under their bed. So it may be nighttime fears, or the room is too dark. And so all those things can cause them to delay bedtime, however means possible. And then another would be, it may be that the bedtime is too early. And in that case, it may be the back and forth may be going on for an hour and a half. And what you might need to do is what we call bedtime fading. So you essentially put them to bed much later, a little bit later, and then slowly bring that time earlier over the course of a week or so. So those are some things that can cause a lot of the curtain calls that our children may experience at bedtime. So what are the things that I would recommend for you to do to address this multiple curtain calls? Number one is consistency in your message. You have to set limits, and you have to be very consistent in that limit setting. It's always helpful to have another parent to sort of back you up and to support you through that process. But that's something that needs to be fundamental. Whatever you're going to do, really stick into it. And now when we think about the specifics and the nitty-gritty, if you have a child who's constantly, I'm thirsty, or I'm hungry. For the thirsty, I recommend just having a cup of water by their bedside, in a sippy cup, not an open cup, so they don't spill water all over your carpet when they're groping for it in the dark. So like a sippy cup is something that you can. But if they're hungry, you can make sure that you incorporate a nighttime snack at the beginning of the routine, because if they ate dinner a while back, then they may truly be hungry. But once you've had that nighttime snack, you don't feed them again, unless your child has a medical condition. But typically, if they've had dinner and they've had the bedtime snack, they really should be fine until morning. So in that case, really saying, we'll eat in the morning, you had dinner, and just really being consistent with that message. And then the other piece I would say is that, of course, you want to validate, you want to empathize with them if they're afraid, but you want to reassure them that they're safe. You want to reassure them that there's no monster under the bed, but you again don't want to use that as a reason for them to delay their bedtime. Then one of my favorite things, which is really honestly covers most of what I've talked about, is having what you call a bedtime pass. A bedtime pass is really a pass which you make yourself, or you could find it online. piece of paper. You could make it colorful. You could decorate it with them. And what it is a get out of bed free card. That's exactly what it is. So essentially, it's almost like a get out of jail free, but it's a get out of bed free card. So they can trade it with any request that they have. I usually will recommend having, initially having about 2 or so of those passes. This way, they're more likely to have buy-in. So maybe 2 or 3 of those passes. And so what you'll do is you put it right over the right by their bedside. And so if they have a request, Mom, what you'll do is they have to give you that pass in exchange for that request. So if it's an additional hug, okay, you take 1 pass, give them that hug, and make it very business-like. Tuck them back in. You're done with your bedtime pass, and go right out the door. If they ask another request again, Mom, I need to use the bathroom. Take the last pass. They use the bathroom. They go right back in, tuck them in, and walk out the door. And that's it. If they come again and say, I need something, no more passes. You can have your request in the morning. That's what you do. And then if they get out of bed, you're going to be, again, very businesslike. You take them back to their room, gently, firmly, put them back in bed. Not much of a conversation. Good night. I love you. It's bedtime, and leave the room. And that's what you'll do. And again and again and again. Remember, your children will want any form of response, positive, negative, anything at all. So don't elicit that. Just really be as businesslike as possible, and try not to engage too much in any argument or anything like that. Now, if they wake up in the morning, what happens if they don't use their bedtime pass? And you would have had this conversation with them way ahead of time, is guess what? They can get to trade it in for a reward. It doesn't have to be a big ticket item, okay? So it could be an extra 10 minutes on the playground. It could be an extra hug, an extra time reading stories with Mom. You want to make sure you have enough time, though, to do that. It could be they get to pick their favorite cereal or something like that, that you know that they enjoy. And you may need to rotate this again and again. You can also have a bag of, like, dollar store type treats or toys, stickers, and things like that, where they can pick from. One thing to note is you want to attach that reward as closely to when they wake up as possible. It's not something you want to do, or when you get back from school or something like that, because they're still so young. They want to know, they should be able to tell that, wow, I stayed in my bed and now I'm getting this reward. So you have those conversations with them way ahead of time. You provide that reward if they do not use their bedtime pass, and you stay consistent with your message. You stay consistent with your message. I think that's really important for our kids to be able to sleep well, to be able to thrive. And that's a great way to be able to cut back on those curtain calls that delay their bedtime and your bedtime. So I hope this has been helpful. If it has, I would love it if you share this video, if you subscribe, and if you like it for certain. Share with those in your circle, because I know there's a mom out there who probably has a kid who takes hours to go to bed, and this would be very valuable for them. Another thing is, if you are a mom who is doing all the things but not really getting time to prioritize sleep for yourself, then I'll be more than happy to help you, and you could find out how I could do that through my sleep coaching program using the link in the comments. Until next time, I hope you rest well.